for pathology is chronic bronchitis. It is characterized by persistent cough for 3 straight months in a year for 2 successive years with yellowish or greenish sputum. It is most commonly seen in males. Urban population is affected more. Now, some of the features of chronic bronchitis, as we have earlier seen, it is persistent cough for 3 straight months in a year for 2 successive years. And on pathology, it shows there is increase in the mucus in the lumen, there is increase in mucosal gland, there are increase in number of goblet cells, there may be infection that may lead to squamous metaplasia. These are some of the features of chronic bronchitis on histology. Now, it is usually associated with COPD. It may lead to cor pulmonale and cardiac failure. Long-standing infection in case of chronic bronchitis may lead to metaplasia and dysplasia. Types of chronic bronchitis, there are basically 4 types: simple, recurrent, obstructive, and asthmatic. In simple chronic bronchitis, the sputum is mucoid. In case of recurrent, the sputum is mucopurulent, but there is no localized suppurative disease. In chronic bronchitis, there is obstruction of the air passage by the mucus that may lead to secondary infection. And the 4th type is asthmatic, that is characterized by persistent cough with sputum and wheezing. So these are the basic 4 types of chronic bronchitis: simple, recurrent, obstructive, and asthmatic. Now, causes of chronic bronchitis, it is mainly seen in cases of smoking, chronic irritation, and infection. So these are the basic causes of chronic bronchitis. And hallmark in case of chronic bronchitis, on histology, it basically shows hyperplasia, hypertrophy. There is hypertrophy of the submucosal gland, there is hyperplasia of the goblet cell, there is hypersecretion of mucus. Whenever there is excess amount of mucus within the lumen, that may lead to obstruction of the lumen causing secondary infection. So these are some of the hallmark of chronic bronchitis. Now, on histology, in case of chronic bronchitis, there is ulceration of the lining bronchial membrane. There is ulceration, then there is also hypertrophy of the submucosal gland. The number of submucosal glands, they are increased. There is hyperplasia of the goblet cell. There is excess amount of mucus and the debris that may lead to obstruction, and the surrounding stroma, it shows inflammatory infiltrate. So these are the basic histological features that are seen in case of chronic bronchitis. Histologically, as we have seen, the bronchial membrane, it shows ulceration, there is hypertrophy of mucosal gland, there is hyperplasia of the goblet cell, the lumen shows obstruction, and there is inflammatory infiltrate in the surrounding tissue. Clinically, a case of chronic bronchitis usually presents with cough with expectoration, and there is dyspnea, and the usual mode of death is due to right-sided heart failure, respiratory failure, and pulmonary hypertension. Now, in this diagram, you can see there is ulceration, there is damage to the lining epithelium, there is increase in submucosal glands. You can see the number of glands, submucosal glands, they are increased, and there are focal areas of inflammatory cell infiltrate. So these are some of the features that are seen on histology. Again, in this diagram, you can see there is damage to the lining epithelium, there is increase in number of the goblet cell. The airway, air passage shows mucus and cellular debris that is seen within the lumen. There is increase in the submucosal gland, you can see over here, and there are focal areas of inflammatory infiltrate. So these are some of the features on histology in case of chronic bronchitis. So the features are, there is damage to the lining epithelium, there is increase in number of the goblet cell, there is presence of mucus and debris within the air space. Within the lumen, there is increase in number of the mucosal gland, and there are focal areas of inflammatory infiltrate. Again, in this diagram, you can see there is damage to the lining epithelium, there is hyperplasia, and the surrounding stroma shows inflammatory cell infiltration. So this is what happened in case of chronic smoking. The patient usually ends up in COPD clinic. Lung abscess and chronic bronchitis. Lung abscess, it is local suppurative process characterized by necrosis of the lung tissue. It is commonly seen in young adults, more in males. Lung abscess, it is commonly seen in cases of chronic bronchitis, bronchiectasis, in cases of sinobronchial infection, oropharyngeal surgical operations, and in cases of dental sepsis. So these are some of the common conditions. Common conditions like bronchiectasis, dental sepsis, sinobronchial infections, oropharyngeal surgical operations. These are some of the conditions in which you get lung abscesses. Now, the organisms which are commonly involved there, strepto, staph, and gram-negative bacilli. These are some of the common causative organisms that are seen in case of lung abscess. Pathogenesis of lung abscess, the organism, they are basically introduced due to aspiration of the infected material. In cases of gastric retention, in cases of laryngeal paralysis. Lung abscesses, they are also seen in cases of bacterial infection, septic emboli, neoplasm, in cases of injury, severe trauma, in which the organism, they are directly implanted. It is also seen in cases of infection in the neighboring tissue that may extend, leading to lung abscess. So these are some of the causative organism and pathogenesis in case of lung abscess. On morphology, on gross, the right lung affected, it is mainly affected during aspiration of the infected material. It may show multiple diffusely scattered consolidated areas. There may be septic foci in any part of the lung that may lead to cavity formation, and in the cases they are untreated may lead to gangrene of the lung. So this is on gross in case of lung abscess. And on histology, there is destruction of lung parenchyma with central cavitation, and in chronic cases may lead to fibrous wall lining. So this is on histology. In this diagram, you can see there is large abscess with cavity and the lining. The fibrous lining can be very well appreciated in this diagram. Again, in this diagram, you can see multiple lung abscesses. They are seen with cavities. These cavities, they are of variable sizes and they are lined by fibrous wall. Again, in this diagram, you can see diffusely scattered consolidated area. It can be very well appreciated in case of lung abscess. And here in this diagram, you can see the lung stroma. It is densely infiltrated by inflammatory cells. There are areas of congestion that can be appreciated. The inflammatory infiltrate is mainly acute inflammatory infiltrate, neutrophil. In this diagram, you can see large area of the lung parenchyma, lung tissue is destroyed and it is replaced by areas of necrosis and inflammatory infiltrate that can be very well appreciated. And in the periphery, you can see the lung tissue, normal lung tissue can be appreciated, the lung alveoli. Clinically, a case of lung abscess is usually presents with fever, cough with expectoration. There is large amount of foul smelling, purulent sputum is there. There is presence of elastic tissue within the sputum. Cases of lung abscess also presence with dyspnea, chest pain, clubbing of fingers, and weight loss. So these are some of the presentation that is seen clinically in case of lung abscess. Now you can see here there is clubbing of fingers that is most commonly seen in pulmonary osteoarthropathy. So this is classic of pulmonary osteoarthropathy, clubbing of fingers. And diagnosis in case of lung abscess can be done on the basis of investigation on X-ray chest. You can see multiple cavities, areas of consolidation, bronchoscopy, biochemical tests. They help in diagnosis. Biopsy is usually done to rule out malignancy. So these are some of the investigations that are done to diagnose a case of lung abscess. In this case, you can very well see there are cavities and areas of consolidation. Now, complications of lung abscess, small lung abscesses, they usually heal by fibrosis and scarring. If there is extension of the infection, that may lead to empyema, septicemia, and in advanced cases, it may present as fistulas. These are mainly bronchopleural fistulas. Whenever there is involvement of the pulmonary vessel, that may lead to rupture and hemorrhage, and long-standing infections may lead to secondary amyloidosis. So these are some of the complications that are seen in case of lung abscess. These are mainly empyema, septicemia, fistulas. Whenever there is involvement of the pulmonary vein, that leads to rupture, hemorrhage, and long-standing infection may lead to secondary amyloidosis. So these are some of the complications. Now, bronchiectasis, it is chronic necrotizing infection of the bronchi and bronchioles leading to abnormal dilatation of the airways. It is basically irreversible dilatation, mainly due to damage to the elastic recoils and damage to the lung tissue that leads to irreversible dilatation of the air spaces. Now, a bronchiectasis is mainly seen in conditions like bronchial obstruction, infections in cases of necrotizing pneumonias. It is also seen in congenital or hereditary cases such as cystic fibrosis, intra-lobar sequestration of lung, immunodeficiency status, and in cases of immotile cilia. So these are the conditions in which you can get bronchiectasis. Now, in this diagram, you can see the normal airway. You can see the normal airway, size of the normal airway. You can see the thickening of the wall of the normal airway. And the lumen, it hardly contains any mucus or mucoid secretion. Whereas in case of bronchiectasis, there is marked enlargement, there is marked widening of the airspace, there is thickening of the wall of the airspace, and there is large amount of mucus that is present within the lumen. So these are some of the features that are seen in case of bronchiectasis in the airway. Now, as compared to, in the next diagram, you can see, as compared to the normal lung, you can see in bronchiectasis, usually the lower lobe of the lung is involved. There is a dilatation of the bronchi, there is infection, and there is accumulation of these foul-smelling secretions within the bronchi that can be very well appreciated. So these are the features that are seen in case of bronchiectasis. There is involvement of mainly the lower lobe, there is dilatation, there is infection and presence of foul-smelling mucoid secretion that is seen within the bronchi. Now in this diagram, you can see the normal bronchus showing the size of the airway. You can see the amount of mucus that is present, the cilia, they can be very well appreciated in case of normal bronchus. You can see the lining mucosal glands, and the wall, the size of the wall can be very well appreciated in case of normal bronchus. So what happens in bronchiectasis is the airway, you can see the size is markedly reduced. The size of the airway, it is markedly reduced. There is large amount of mucus secretion that can be appreciated. There is damage to the cilia, and there is destruction to the wall of the bronchus. So these are the features that are seen in case of bronchiectasis, which can be very well differentiated from the normal bronchus. Now, basically, there are two patterns that are seen in case of bronchiectasis, cylindrical and secular. In case of cylindrical, again, the lower lobe of the lung is involved. There is dilatation of the bronchus. There is dilatation of the bronchus. There is accumulation of secretion. There is infection. And the stroma, lung stroma shows fibrosis. So these are the basic features that are seen in case of cylindrical bronchiectasis. Whereas in case of secular, again, the lower lobe of the lung is involved. There is again dilatation of the bronchi. But in this particular case, there is localized dilatation. In secular type, there is localized dilatation of the bronchus. It may be single, it may be multiple. Again, it contains foul-smelling secretion within the bronchi, and the stroma, the lung stroma, shows fibrosis. So these are the basic two patterns that are seen in case of bronchiectasis, that is cylindrical and secular. Etiology, causes of bronchiectasis is, it is most commonly seen in cases of obstruction and infection. These are the basic two causes of bronchiectasis. As we have seen, basically the lower lobe of the lung is mainly affected. There is dilatation, infection. It contains foul-smelling secretions can be seen. Whenever there is damage to the elastic forces due to the infection, that may lead to the relaxation. Due to damage of the elastic forces, there is a relaxation of the airways, and there is dilatation. At times, there may be collapse of the lung, that is atelectasis, can be appreciated in case of the bronchiectasis cases. At times, in early stages, it is reversible whenever there is damage to the elastic tissue. This is basically irreversible. Changes can be seen in case of bronchiectasis. Now, the pathogenesis, the sequence of events that take place, as we have seen in bronchiectasis, is mainly there is recurrent infection is there that leads to chronic bronchitis. In chronic bronchitis, usually there is damage to the cilia. Whenever the cilia it is damaged, it causes retention of the secretion, and whenever there is retention of the secretion, the lumen, there is obstruction that leads to secondary bacterial infection. And this secondary bacterial infection causes damage to the elastic tissue, muscles, cartilage, and ultimately leading to bronchial dilatation. So these are the sequence of events in case of bronchiectasis. This is basic pathogenesis that can be seen in case of bronchiectasis. So there is recurrent infection that leads to chronic bronchitis, which causes damage to the cilia. Whenever there is damage to the cilia, there is retention of the secretion that leads to obstruction, and obstruction causes secondary bacterial infection. And this bacterial infection causes damage to the elastic tissue muscle, ultimately leading to dilatation of the bronchi. On gross, bronchiectasis, basically, it is usually bilateral, lower lobe is involved, there is dilatation of the bronchi, there is infection. Dilatation is mainly, as we have seen earlier, it is mainly of two patterns that are seen, cylindrical and secular. And in this, the bronchi on gross can be traced up to the pleural surface. Now, on histology, in case of bronchiectasis, you can see on histology, you can see in case of bronchiectasis, there is damage to the lining epithelium. There is damage to the lining epithelium. There is damage to the cilia. You can see there is absence of cilia. There is damage to the cilia. And the lumen, it contains secretion, mucus secretion, cellular debris can be seen. And the underlying stroma shows dense inflammatory infiltrate. And at times, the lining epithelium may show metaplastic changes. So these are the 4-5 changes that are seen histologically in case of bronchiectasis. There is ulceration, there is damage to the cilia, there is presence of mucous cellular debris within the lumen, and the underlying stroma shows dense inflammatory infiltrate. And if the infection is long-standing, that may lead to metaplastic changes. Again, this is a closer view. You can see there is damage to the lining, there is damage to the cilia. You can see the secretion within the lumen, and the stroma shows inflammatory infiltrate. Effects of bronchiectasis, as we have seen earlier in case of bronchiectasis, mainly the lower lobe of the lung is involved. There is a dilatation of the bronchi, there is accumulation of the foul-smelling secretion. It is mainly due to infection. And this may at times lead to lung abscess. It may lead to lung abscess. And whenever this extend into the surrounding tissue, may lead to empyema. Other effects are whenever there is involvement of the pulmonary vein, whenever there is erosion of the pulmonary vein, it may lead to systemic infection. The infection may enter the systemic circulation, leading to lung. It may lead to brain abscess. It may cause meningitis. And other effects, such as whenever there is a large amount of lung tissue is damaged, it may cause hemodynamic changes, such as right-sided failure of the heart, pulmonary hypertension. In cases, in long-standing cases, it may lead to pulmonary osteoarthropathy, that is clubbing of fingers. And long-standing infection may lead to secondary amyloidosis. So these are some of the effects of bronchiectasis. There is accumulation of secretion, lung abscesses. You can see brain abscesses due to invasion of the erosion of the pulmonary vein. Whenever the large amount of lung tissue is damaged, it may cause hemodynamic changes that may lead to right-sided heart failure. And it may also cause clubbing of fingers, and long-standing infection may lead to secondary infection. So these are the various effects that are seen in case of bronchiectasis.